Welcome, everyone. I'm glad you're here today. Today, we're going to explore a topic that touches many of us: rethinking infidelity. This talk is for anyone who has ever loved, struggled, or wondered about the complexities of relationships. Over the next few minutes, we'll challenge some common assumptions, look at new perspectives, and hopefully gain some insights into what infidelity really means. So, let's dive in and start this journey together. Let's talk about a fascinating paradox in romantic relationships. It's this strange truth. We often believe we truly know our partner, their warmth, their intelligence, their ambitions, and the tenderness they show to friends or family. But here's the catch. Until the story of the relationship ends, we're actually dealing with a carefully maintained version of them. We never see the full, authentic person all at once. This means that the deeper, more genuine understanding often comes only with time, and sometimes only after the relationship has concluded. This paradox highlights how complex and layered our connections are, and it ties back to the overall theme of understanding ourselves and others in love. When we talk about the performance of love, what we're really exploring is how people behave when they're emotionally invested. You see, when someone has something to lose, whether it's our love, our approval, or the future we're building together, they tend to work really hard to protect their image. This isn't about deception, it's about self-preservation. They try to maintain control over how they're perceived. Instead of always being raw and honest, they often choose diplomacy, saying what they think will keep things smooth, over complete transparency. And that's where the masks come in. These masks we wear in relationships aren't necessarily about deception. They're protective. They're a way to guard ourselves from vulnerability, from rejection, or from losing what matters most to us. So, understanding this helps us see that behind the masks, there's a lot of effort and emotion. It's part of how love influences the way we act, sometimes to protect, sometimes to hide, but always to preserve what we hold dear. But endings change everything. This might seem simple, but it's actually a really powerful idea. You see, how something concludes can completely alter the way we view the entire story or experience. Whether it's a project, a relationship, or a chapter in our lives, the ending can redefine what came before. It's like a final brushstroke that brings the whole picture into focus or changes its meaning entirely. So, understanding this helps us realize that endings are not just conclusions. They're pivotal moments that shape our perceptions and future directions. This concept ties back to the overall theme of transformation and the importance of perspective in our journeys. Remember, how we choose to end things can open new doors or close them, so it's worth paying attention to how we approach those final moments. When the end finally arrives, the masks we've been wearing start to fall away. It's that moment when separation becomes undeniably real. You hear the lawyer's calls coming in, the moving truck is parked outside, and suddenly a shared life splits into two separate paths. At this point, the stakes we once held onto, what kept us pretending to be okay, completely evaporate. There's no longer a role to preserve, no reputation to guard, and no future together to build or invest in. The emotional walls we kept up start to crumble, and what was once restrained by commitment now bursts forth with surprising intensity: anger, grief, bitterness, fear. And with these raw emotions, there's often a brutal honesty that can be hard to witness, even for ourselves. This is really the moment when we finally meet the true person behind the relationship, the person beneath the facade, beyond the attempts to keep everything under control. It's not the partner who tried to keep the peace or maintain the harmony. It's the authentic, sometimes vulnerable, sometimes angry individual who's been hiding behind the performance all along. And understanding this is crucial, because it connects to the larger theme of this presentation: how relationships reveal who we truly are when everything else falls away. Sometimes, what we learn about someone can be quite painful, sometimes even shocking. For example, someone who seemed modest and shy on the surface might actually be emotionally immature and selfish deep down. They might be avoiding responsibility at all costs, even if it ends up hurting us a lot. Or the person we thought had a guarded but caring heart could turn out to have never truly cared enough. In those moments, there might be no tears, no attempts to mend things. Instead, there's a kind of relief that it's finally over. What's really difficult, and honestly, a bit humiliating, is realizing that there were clues all along, signs we might have missed. But it often takes a separation or a breakup for these hidden truths to come to light and be revealed clearly. This slide highlights a key part of the healing process, understanding that sometimes the truth only becomes visible once the relationship is over. It's a sobering reminder that appearances can be deceiving, and that uncovering these truths is part of truly knowing someone and ourselves. Sometimes, a different truth emerges that we might not expect. Not all revelations are devastating. In fact, some can be surprisingly honorable or even beautiful. What we often discover is that their kindness wasn't conditional, that their decency wasn't performed just for reward. It's eye-opening to realize that their love existed even when it no longer benefited them. Imagine a partner who has every reason to retaliate, yet chooses instead to show compassion. They step into a space of dignity, working together to craft a respectful and peaceful ending. This kind of grace ensures that pain doesn't erase the meaningful history you shared. Ultimately, these individuals help us finish well, even if they don't stay in the story forever. It's about recognizing that sometimes, even in the end, there's a quiet, profound beauty in how love and decency can still shine through. Let's talk about what really measures character. There's an old saying that I think captures it perfectly. The true index of character is how someone treats you when they no longer need you. It's a powerful idea, especially when we consider romantic endings. Some people, unfortunately, weaponize their freedom. They might punish, diminish, or walk away without a second thought. It's like they forget that respect and kindness still matter even when the relationship is over. On the flip side, there are those who protect what was good. They honor the love that once held everything together, even if they have to part ways. That's a sign of genuine character, choosing integrity over spite. And that's really the core message here. We should marry not just the person we want to be with, but the person we would still respect if we had to separate. Because true character shows in how we handle both the love and the ending of it. When a relationship ends, it's not just about concluding a chapter. It actually reveals a lot about the love that was there. The conclusion can show us whether the affection was genuine or if it was more strategic, maybe motivated by convenience or other factors. It also helps us understand if the commitment was truly rooted in love or if it was driven by simply wanting to avoid loneliness or other needs. And perhaps most surprisingly, the end often reveals who the person really was, whether they were who we initially thought or if there were aspects we didn't see until it was over. In fact, sometimes we learn more from how a relationship ends than from the years we spent inside it. It's a paradox, but it's true. Endings can be powerful teachers about love, truth, and ourselves. This idea ties back to our overall theme, that love is as much about understanding ourselves as it is about understanding others. When love ends, it can be incredibly painful, but it also opens the door to understanding. Breakups and infidelity tend to force us into a kind of uncomfortable clarity. They strip away the illusions we might have held and reveal the deeper emotional reality of the relationship. This process helps us see who the other person really is, beyond the stories we told ourselves. It also makes us realize who we truly were to them, what our presence really meant in their lives. And importantly, it clarifies what the relationship itself truly represented, its purpose, its significance. Although it's heartbreaking, this kind of knowledge isn't just about loss. It's about transformation. It's a chance to learn and grow from the experience. Because when the metaphorical curtain falls, we finally understand the story we've been living in all along. And from that newfound understanding, we can build wiser, more authentic love in the chapters that follow. So in the end, even through pain, there's a kind of gift, insight that guides us toward healthier relationships in the future.